Hey ho, get out the way, get out the way, get out the way. I should explain that's what I sing to my hair when I zip up my jacket. Funny story about that song actually, we used to sing it to Abel when he was like 2 or 3. But we'd change it, we'd be like, hey, you get out the way, get out the way. And he used to sing it all the time, and then he must have sung it at his mum's and it came back and we were singing it again, we're like, hey, you get it. And before we could even finish, he was like, that's a bad song. And we're like, how? And he's like, it's got a bad word in it. And we're like, no, the version we sing's okay. So I think, I don't know if it was either his mum or his gran or someone, but someone's obviously said to him, oh, that's a bad song, don't sing it because it's usually bad. So they maybe just heard that, hey, you. He's like, I don't know, but I've just heard it's a bad song. Ah, it's cute. Cute wee guy. He's one of these wee guys, he's like, he acts all cool, but the minute he thinks like he's done wrong, he's a bit like, oh, that's bad, that's wrong. And I'm just like, oh, you're such a good wee guy, good natured guy. Anyway, so tangents. It's almost like I start each of these videos with a wee shiv tangent, a little chat about something, like I'm like a magpie. It's like, oh, shiny objects. That's like my thoughts. So I wanted to talk about, because a lot of people that try yoga say that they like it, but they don't really like the stillness part of it, or they can't really get into the meditation. Or even not so much with yoga, but you hear people say, oh, I've tried to meditate, but it's really, really hard, I don't know. Don't do it. So that seems like bad advice. But no, I actually wouldn't do it right away. I struggled with meditation big time. I found that the minute I tried to like make myself still, I was like, oh, I just want to move, and all my thoughts would go crazy, and it made me more uncomfortable than meditation was meant to make me feel. So if I find as well, like with meditation, they say eyes closed, lie down in this exact position, sit in this exact position, and that might be what you're aiming for, but I actually think I'm jumping ahead here, but when you do try to do meditation, you should kind of tailor it to what's feeling doable, so you can continue to do it until it gets better and better. But anyway, before you even try meditation, if you're one of these people who like feel really uncomfortable the minute you try to do it, and you've maybe just like binned it now because you're like, right, don't know what the hype's about, but bin. I would actually, rather than meditation, rather than think about this big ethereal thing, I think breath is the first thing. So if you're not hippie or into like crazy stuff like that, if you think about your breath, it's just physiology. So they've shown through study, if we can breathe a nice steady breath in for 5, out for 5 roughly, especially if we can use diaphragmatic or belly breathing, they've actually shown through quite extensive study that can stimulate your vagus nerve. So basically it can stimulate your rest and digest mode, if you want to think of it like that. If you're sitting here thinking, meh, I don't think so, why don't you try and do the opposite? Hold your breath, lift your shoulders, see what happens to your heart rate, your emotions, the tension in your body, and you know that the opposite is true. When we tense our jaw, when we take shallow, quick breaths, when we're stressed and holding tension around our shoulders, we're telling our physiology there's a danger, I'm in fight or flight mode, I don't know what it is, because it's just modern threat, it's not like a bear chasing you, but it has the same effect. And something recently that I read that I found really interesting is the fact that with modern stress we don't see the danger pass. Like there's always a new deadline, there's always a new thing that's like on our backs. So we don't see the bear pass. Whereas if it was a natural danger, like if it's something like a bear chasing us, I'm going to use the bear analogy, I'm just running with it, running from the bear. When we see the predator pass, our system calms down. We breathe normally again. We don't need to conceal our breath or have a shallow breath to get away fast. We don't need to tense our muscles to get away fast. We relax. With modern ongoing stress, we sometimes don't get that moment of relaxation. So that's where I think, even if you've binned the idea of meditation, that breath practice is still really, really important. So even if it's sitting with your eyes open you know, sitting in a comfortable position, even if it's not sitting in stillness, if it's taking a walk around the block. Do we say block in Scotland? I don't know if I've just nicked that from TV. So taking a walk around and breathing, just listening to your breath, even just putting on music in your ears, but still, you know, being very, very aware of your breath. If you're not blocked up, we usually say try and breathe in through your nose and sigh out through your nose. You know, that sigh is a natural release of tension. And you'll notice that your breath will become longer, it will become deeper when we're not forcing it to become that way. We're just letting it do its thing. And by the time you come back, if you're taking a walk round, you should be in a better state, a more creative state, because you're not in this fight or flight tension, this fear and this self-protection. So really simple thing. I know meditation's like every single guru goes on that it's the best thing ever. It's only good if it works with you. So if it's not working with you, you need to find another way to tailor it to you. And that might mean, as I say, just breathing. And if, like I said, if you don't think breathing's a big deal, think about what the opposite does. When we hold our breath, clench our jaw, lift our shoulders, breathe from our chest, it immediately, if you're really listening to yourself, it immediately makes you feel stressed. So breath, in a huge way, can affect your emotions, affect your state, affect your physiology without you realising. Because how many of you have actually, you know, finished work, started to relax and realise that your shoulders have been way up to your ears, or, you know, tried a yoga class or a movement practice, or even, you know, training. A lot of people find afterwards they're like, oh, I just feel so much better. I feel like a weight's been lifted, basically because that tension has been lifted away from your body. So that's my top tip for today. Don't force yourself to meditate if it's not right for you. Get into a breath practice, not a meditation practice. Don't need to do it for ages and ages, but just aim for that slow breath in, that big sigh out. I actually do it before I do videos, because like you guys know, I can feel a bit stressed about putting videos out there. So this is one thing that I even do, or even, I was going to go, but I've got something else to say. Even when I'm driving, a lot of people know that I actually had a bit of a fear of driving, maybe going on phobia, because I was having nightmares about it and stuff. Maybe not as far as phobia, but I was having nightmares where I was waking up sweating because of it, and even being in a passenger seat. And then at one point, walking past in traffic, I was just thinking about like all the traffic I was passing. I was thinking about them doing hill starts and whatever. I was really scared of driving, and it was one thing that was causing me so much pain, because in my head I wasn't a proper adult because I'd ditched the driving. I'd passed my test when I was 18, drove for about a year and just binned it, and it really, really bugged me. So, and then the thought of like nearly 10 years later getting back into the car was really, really scary. And I actually found it so much easier this time. I thought I was going to go back as a really nervous driver, and I was so chill in the car, and I honestly put that down to the breath practice and the work that I've done. So a lot of the time, even if I was, you know, see that first hill start you have to do when you've not been driving for a while, and I was in Glasgow and the streets like that, by the way, and I can feel my heart going, and I start to breathe and sigh out. And even on that first couple of breaths, you're like, you've got this, you have got this, and it was fine. And I'm so confident in driving now, it's unreal. I never thought I'd get there. So breath is so good. Give it a try, guys. Let me know how you get on, and if this has helped in any way. Bye.